We are live. Aaron the dog back with another UFC breakdown show with the one, the only Boston Comments herself. Bunny is in the hizzy. How you doing tonight, Bunny?
Good. Look at all the comments already. What the hell?
I know this is the rants. It's just like what can I say? We got Kill Switch in the comments. We got Dapper. We got obviously Miz right away. Like as soon as the video was posted, Miz was in there. He's also making a few different emojis, which, as always, emojis don't show up on my StreamYard. So I see sheltering for one of them. And then there was another one he did earlier. But yeah, we got many here. Elbow Cough is up at the top, obviously, also known as a dab. Davis, obviously, here. Luis Rodriguez here. MMA. And MMA. Brandon, let me introduce you to something. It's something that you blow up all the time. It's called my DMs. You could send this there, but since we're just going to talk about things in public as always, Brian is ready to be a father. Said this a couple weeks ago. They're having a baby. By the way, I just got my Brian Battle T-shirt. I forgot to wear it. I'm actually looks like I'm in a little different setup. I'm actually live from New Jersey this week. So been kind of all over the place, going to New York City this weekend for a movie trivia event because I'm a cool guy. So yeah, shout out to Schmodown if you watch the Schmodown. I'll be there on Saturday. But yeah, Alec, I know you know what I'm talking about. Alec Miller. That's so nice. Alec always just with the nicest comments. So happy for him. Fatherhood is the best. Alec is a wonderful father himself. So yeah, I mean, Brian's gonna be a great dad. He's taken off the last couple weeks, and it's definitely been a party with you, Bunny. The Dog and Bunny show is off and running. I'd say. I think last week was one of my favorite shows I've had so far on the channel. Yeah. So yeah, I think that we're really figuring this out. Really means a lot to everybody in the chat. Alec, Davis, Ms. Mo. Many, everybody else, MMA wagers with your embarrassing messages, and there will be no.
Brandon, please don't call us out on air.
Exactly, and then obviously, yeah, we got another UFC this weekend. It's another Saturday. We got another UFC. Bunny from Studio B tonight, looking lovely as always. The studio is. Yeah, no, of course, definitely not. But. Yeah, it's a sneaky one. You said it yourself. Definitely a sleeper card here this Saturday. I think the main event particularly is very, very relevant for who's going to be probably a next title contender between Mackenzie Dern and Marina Rodriguez. Yeah, this Boston Comments girl really knows what she's talking about. I agree with that. You all do real. No, absolutely. I'm not criticizing. But cheers to everybody in the chat from Jersey. We got. Don't let Tapology lie to you. It's a 10-fight card, not an 11-fight card.
They skipped number 5. They just didn't want to. That fucked me up, man.
That fucked up a lot of people.
Yeah,
don't mess with the clipboard. The clipboard in full effect. There won't be any timestamps again this week. Timestamps will be back next week when I can write them down and have the time to do so. But yeah, absolutely, Alec. We are in agreement there, and you can always check in later. But say hi to the family and everything. And yeah, I hope you're well, buddy. But thanks for popping in. But yeah, it's a sleeper card for sure. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I do think there's a few fights on here that are stake fights, and I will say that tonight there are no stake fights that are women fights. I will say that. My 2 stake fights are men fights. So there's that. The spelling rumor. James, I've never gotten this comment, but thank you. I'd like to think of myself, more like, I don't know. Man, I wish I would have had someone good to say there. A white Usher, but white Janet Jackson, I'll take 2. I'll try to keep everything in here, So.
Was that me?
Well, no. I don't think it was like a wardrobe malfunction. I think. I'm sorry, everybody. This light is
ruin the vibe.
Yeah. I ruined the vibe. No, you're all good. You're all good.
Let's just all right.
Let's get into the all right. My producer Bunny is in the chat. She's telling me to move on. Hi, Mom. How you doing? I'm just kidding. Oh. I'm just kidding. It was a funny thing to say in the moment. My mom will probably watch at some point though. So yeah, she's a big fan. I'm sweaty now. This light is bright and hot. Let's go ahead and jump into this breakdown, everybody. No, Zach, but Brian Battle is waiting to become a father right now. He's there for his mom, or his baby mama, I should say, which I probably shouldn't refer to her as that. His wife. God, I should learn her name. Anyways, God.
He's about to have a baby. Like she's about to birth. So Brian will be back eventually. Let the kid have his child, and then we'll hold down the fort for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But Brian will be back, and yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this one. We got a 10 fight card, so it is a little bit smaller. And hey, we're starting out with the steak fight right off the bat, where the steak fight should probably usually. Where this steak fight probably should go a rough one for Aaron today. Indeed, Dapper. This light is making me sweaty along with my awkwardness. So we got double-digit viewer. Yo, shout out to double-digit viewers. It means so much to me. Seriously, guys. This has been a blast. Yeah, but we got a steak fight to start out here between Charlie Ontiveros, also known as the guy who got slammed by Kevin Holland and knocked out in like 40 seconds in his last fight, taking on Steve Garcia. Just listen to the sizzle of that steak. 11-7 versus 11-4. We got 29-year-old versus the 30-year-old. Jackson Winklejohn representative Steve Garcia. I'll be breaking down first. Mean Machine against the American Bad Boy. So cool nicknames, guys. So fighting out of Jackson Winklejohn. One of his coaches is his dad, Steven Sr., so that's kind of cool. Steven Garcia Sr. Coming off a loss last February to Luis Pena. It was a so-so fight. I went back and watched it. I mean, he looked like he kind of just struggled with the length of Pena, which I think a lot of guys will struggle with. He did have some decent wins on the regional scene. Jose Marcial, 10-4 fighter. He got finish in LFA. Got a finish on the Contender Series, first round finish. And this is back when the Contender Series didn't sign just everybody who won, but he got a first round finish. And yeah, surprisingly, didn't get signed to UFC over a 9-1 opponent in Desmond, or 7-1 opponent in Desmond Torres. But yeah, losses to Elon Cruz, Joe Warren, both decent opponents. Ricky Tercio, so obviously we know from the Contender Series.
That was at lightweight, wasn't it?
This was in Bellator, and this was at bantamweight. What'd you say?
I said Ricky fought at lightweight.
No, it was at bantamweight. So Steve Garcia used to fight at bantamweight. Yeah, and so yeah, he used to pretty much kill himself getting down there. Faced Ronnie Lawrence also early on, got some wins. But yeah, Steve Garcia, he's moved up to lightweight at this point, taking on Charlie Ontiveros, 11-7 for Charlie Ontiveros. Charlie did fight his last fight at middleweight. So that's definitely a little bit odd. I think there's going to be quite a size advantage in this fight for Charlie. I have no idea how he's going to look getting down to 155. He's never fought at 155. As far as I know, he's fought at welterweight in some fights and then middleweight. But yeah, I just think that, Charlie, he gets finished in most of his losses, 6 losses by TKO and 1 sub, as Brandon says, as I'm looking at the chat here. But yeah, it's I mean, Charlie, the level of opponents he's beating also 5-4, 3-5, 2-2, 5-2. Not great levels of opponents. He did face Venom Page back in the day, got knocked out by him. Faced Jeff Neal, got knocked out by him. I mean, with Ontiveros, I just think that if he wins this fight, it's just kind of based on size and not the most skill. But we've seen before with Steve Garcia that this is a way to beat him. I think that Ontiveros has like a pretty good size and reach advantage in this fight. It's just not a really high level fight. I don't have a super confident pick here. I'll go with Charlie Ontiveros for the simple fact that he has 6-month suspension for the same steroid dilute that John Jones had. So it's got a little bit of the sauce in him still. Steroids bigger. And yeah, it's like Charlie loses to tough competition. He doesn't beat tough competition, but he loses to tough competition. And I just don't think Steve Garcia is very good. Losing to Luis Pena the way he did, Luis Pena has not really impressed me too much so far. So I think Ontiveros will use the size and the experience advantage to edge out a real grimy decision as I'm cooking that steak. Your thoughts?
I'm also not super stoked. I didn't know what to write here. I'm picking Garcia for the fuck of it. I like that you picked. I mean, they both fought at LFA and no, I'm sorry. Charlie fought at Fury and Bellator, and then Steve fought at LFA, Bellator, and Contender Series. I love all those. Love all that shit. But,
great point.
Kevin Holland, we knew what his wrestling looked like, and he kicked the shit out of this kid. So
yeah, he turned into an Olympic wrestler against Ontiveros.
That was not that long ago. So I'm gonna go with that was pre Dagestan as well. So I'm gonna go with Garcia just for
Hendrickson.
Yeah, just for
So Garcia, finish or decision for you?
Fucking no clue.
I love it. Well, as usual, Bunny just going for the favorite here. Bunny goes with the favorite. She's got the minus 325 favorite in Steve Garcia.
I hate picking the favorite.
If you're betting Steve Garcia at minus 325, Venmo me your money at Aaron the Dog Guy. Just Venmo it to me. It's going to a better cause here because you are crazy if you're willing to put 3-1 over 3-1. And then Charlie coming back at a plus 250. His UFC debut was on, I believe, 4 days' notice against Kevin Holland. This is a long time ago when Kevin Holland was a Fighter of the Year candidate a whole year ago when he was. Remember?
It wasn't that long ago.
No, I know that's me being sarcastic. Right? It's like, but that's how crazy. Like, kind of, that's just how crazy MMA is. Like, a year ago, Kevin Holland was unbeatable. Everybody loved him. Like, he was just on his way to being a double title shot. And now it seems, other than a few notable MMA pages, that no one seems to be a big fan of him now, and everybody seems to know how to beat him. He also lost twice last weekend and got a no contest, so good for him on that. So we'll move on, but all I gotta say is good thing Sean Shelby likes you, Kevin, because you should have had a loss.
So mad at him still.
I'm just curious with that no contest decision. Real quick, Grant. Curious with that no contest, that if after the headbutt, Kevin Holland gets up and lands a knee on a takedown attempt, puts Kyle Dawkins out, does Kyle Dawkins get to go over to Sean Shelby and say, "Hey, no contest, we had a clash of heads"? Just curious. So, just a little thought process for everybody out there. It cost me a lot of money, though, because I had several parlays with Kyle Dawkins, but it's okay. I'll bet Kyle again when they fight in November. So next fight here, I'm very, very excited for this one. I think this one has become as good or a little better from the original fight. Lupita Godinez had a opponent change going from Sam Page Hughes to Silvana Gomez Juarez, the Argentinian. I apologize. I'm aware of how bets work, Brandon. I know how bets work, but I should have won the fucking bet. So I'm aware that my bet got voided, but it also caused all my parlays to go down. That's also how it works, Brandon. DM me if you have more questions. God damn. This kid sometimes, I swear to God. Silvana Gomez Juarez, the Argentinian, 36 years old and 10 months, 10-2 for La Malvada. She's fighting out of M-Trom Gym in Argentina. Took this fight on very short notice. 3-fight win streak for her here. 2 of those coming by strikes. in a decision win, although being against a 4-3 opponent, 6-4, 4-6. Her fourth fight out was against Ariane Lipsky with KSW. Lost that by decision. Lipsky was really dominant over there. No shame there. She's had a ton of fights set up with really great fighters. Antonio Shevchenko, Sabina Mazo. She had a fight against Poliana Bontello. She did lose that, however, in Brazil. Has a win over Vanessa Mello, UFC competitor. So good UFC level of competition here coming in here. Most of her finishes coming by strikes, a few arm bars in there as well. But those both coming in 2014. More of a striker for sure. Has a decent bottom game, which I think she'll maybe have to rely on here. Lupita Godinez, 5-1, should be 6-0. Last fight came back in April against Jessica Penne. And I know that I scored it 2-1 for Lupita Godinez. Lupita was literally throwing Jessica Penne around the octagon. And yeah, it's just I'm glad. I'll just let you work through the comments there. I need to focus. And I just got a small peek of it. I need to. And but Lupita had a really great 5-round win over Vanessa Demopoulos, who has now made the UFC as well. It was a majority decision, but I honestly thought she won 3-2 in that one. Lupita is just very, very well-rounded Mexican-Canadian fighter. She's been training with a lot of very good camps. And I just think at 28 years old, she's really entering her prime. She was a little bit of a late starter to MMA. With her amateur career, she had quite a few losses too, which I think is what your amateur career is for. I've gotten to talk with Lupita several times. I talked with her before the UFC. I've gotten to talk to her during her UFC run. For me, Lupita, she's, I think, one of the most even-keeled, well-thought-out fighters in the organization right now. I really think that good things are coming for her. The way she handled the loss to Jessica Penne was really impressive as well. Her wrestling definitely has always been there, but the striking's really come along as well. You see a lot of decisions right now for Lupita. We saw with Fernie Garcia a lot of decisions, and he's gotten a lot of finishes lately, and he just was on the Contender Series. I think Lupi gets this fight down, gets it to the ground, works her ground and pound, either sinks in the rear naked choke or pounds her out from, I think, back mount. I know that's pretty specific, but I think that Lupita learned a lot about not resting and getting to the judges, no matter how much you think. Because, I mean, other than Jessica Penne holding on to her back in a position that she got a few times, Jessica Penne didn't do anything. So, yeah, I like Lupita. She's been training with really good competition. The short notice replacement is a little bit worrisome for me, but should be able to run it here. So, yeah, I got Lupita.
Fuck you, Dapper. Sorry. I need to bring up that this is not a basketball chat. I have to agree with you, man. I mean, it's like my head is saying Lupita, but my heart is saying Silvana, because I love, my best friend is from Argentina, and I love that we're getting to see a couple more Argentinian fighters on the big stage. But dude, I don't know. Lupita she's small, but she does well against a height and reach advantage. I think she knows how to close the distance with that. So I'm going with Lupita. She packs a little bit more of a punch. She goes for the clinch any chance you can get. She's powerful in it. Silvana's a little bit more patient, a little bit more. Oh, good evening, Justin. Justin's here, everyone. Look out.
Thank God. I can breathe now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lupita. I'm not sure how I see it ending. Let's go with 5-1 versus 10-2. Let's go another decision. I know that's not super exciting.
Yeah, no, and we do have some odds available. Lupita opened at a -210. She's up to a -245. I think she's going to head to the -300 range by the time this fight kicks off. Yeah, her opponent does have a lot of experience. I agree. She's got double the amount of pro fights. 36 years old, almost 37. This really is kind of the last kind of go around for Silvana. But I just think that Lupita got right back in the gym after her quote unquote loss in that decision. And I just, anytime you talk to Lupita, she's just very, very, just very, just well-spoken, very polite, very gracious for the position she has in the UFC. And every single like discussion I've ever had with her at thank you, have a good day, just always very, very, it's always just, you know, and like she's just training at a very good gym in Vancouver. She's traveling all around. And yeah, I just think that, yeah, they both pretty. I agree. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but to UFC it does. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna go with Lupita by knockout though. So
okay.
I want to see it, and I mean, there's a few fighters that you're really very rarely gonna see me pick against. I'm not gonna be picking against King Casey O'Neill too often.
Damn straight.
I'm not gonna be picking against Lupita Godinez. I'm not gonna be picking against Julian Robertson. Those are my 3 like road dogs till the end. By the way, I just realized I forgot to send this to a possible guest, so I will do that in a moment.
Do that, Aaron. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm very dumb. What can I say?
Silvana's so pretty, and she's Argentinian. I had a hard time rooting against her, man. I really wanted to pick her.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I'm very interested to see Silvana. Shout out to Topology. They know how to pick. They know how to pick it. That's a nice photo. Anyway, man, you love Alabama. Okay, good for you. But let me get off that page now. We're gonna go on to the 145 division. And real quick, I'm just gonna send this really quick to the next.
Zach, she's 23 years old, so she'll work. I don't know if you've ever seen her spar, but she's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
She went up against this Shevchenko, and it was a pretty big fight for her, man. You got to count into nerves and stuff.
Yeah, I think, and I think the other thing we've seen this with Pooh Bear before. We've seen this with a few other fighters. In MMA, your striking does not have to be a Mona Lisa. Like, it really doesn't. It has to be effective and at times unconventional, because that will actually help you. So I just think that with Casey, there's a lot that she's going to, there's a lot. Hold on. Sorry.
You know what? Send her text. She's lethal when she's on top on the ground. She's scary. She kept the ref like, are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, she's had multiple, like, if you just go look at her highlights, she's had multiple talk-off KOs where she has to let the ref know, I'm beating this woman to oblivion, take her off, get her off of it. And it's just, like,
She's great.
I'm not a big look in their eyes, you can tell type of person, but there's something about the look in Casey O'Neill's eyes that she looks like a killer. And the way that I had my first interview with Casey O'Neill before she got signed with the UFC was I used to follow Tiger Muay Thai on Instagram, and I saw this savage in the background, like throwing women around, and then like later throwing like weights around, and like she's always just throwing shit around. And then sure enough, it was Casey O'Neill. Reached out to her, talked to her. The UFC didn't make her go on the Contenders series. They said at 4-0, you're signed. Or at 5-0, you're signed here. Like, we don't need to see anything. So I do think that she's going to step in and face Macy Barber in December, and Casey O'Neill all day in that fight.
I still pick, Casey all day. I mean, Barber's, she's not I wouldn't say she's a can, but she's against Casey. Casey's got her.
I think Casey's a much better version. But this fight, 145, slight sizzle, I hear, because I'm going to have to put another steak on. Sorry, Boston Strong, but you are a steak fight. No. Charles, I'm sorry. I can't lie. Charles Rosa versus Damon Jackson has a lot of potential to be not the best fight of the night. Just maybe. Damon Jackson, we're going to be breaking down first here. 18-4-1 for the Leech. 33 years old, 5'11", 73-inch reach, fought at 145 in his last fight. So he is still fighting at he's been at featherweight for a while now. Out of Fortis MMA, lost his last time out to Elliott Tapura. We've seen how good Elliott Tapura is. No shame there. Elliott Tapura fights just about as opposite to Charles Rosa as you can get. Elliott Tapura is like forward pressure, heavy strikes, volume, aggressive grappling, and Charles Rosa is not. I'll just put it that way. Charles Rosa has a 37% takedown defense. That means 2 out of every 3 takedowns are getting in there on Charles Rosa. He has had a few arm bars in his career, including one in Boston against Manny Bermudez in a fight that lost me.
Oh my god!
I couldn't believe
my notes on my clipboard, Aaron. Taking everything out.
Sorry. I need to stop cheating. I need to stop cheating off your clipboard. But yeah, that was a fight I was at, and it was just that was crazy to see. But yeah, with Damon Jackson, he's won 2 of his last 3. Mercic Bektik, Mauro Shalot are the 2 he's won. Got absolutely starched against Elliott Tapura, and even more starched against Movlid Hayabulov. Sorry, jumping knee in 10 seconds there with PFL. He's an LFA veteran. Won a ton with the LFA. Only loss in the LFA coming to Kevin Aguilar in an absolute war in the 3rd round. Really good fight, but tons of experience. I've been to UFC prior. It's fought everybody from Larry Garcia to Yancy Medeiros, Levi Mashkafili. Levi Mao is a very good regional guy. He's faced a ton. Yeah, he's just faced a ton of really high quality opponents. Had that guillotine choke of Mircea Bektik in his UFC return. Was scheduled to face Luke Sanders back in May. He had an injury. I believe it was a back issue. So coming back here against Charles Rosa definitely has had some neck injuries in his career. Boston Strong is 35 years old, 5'9", 69-inch reach, about 4-inch reach disadvantage here for the ATT representative. Took on Justin James his last time out, where Justin James bet on himself on short notice, and it was a close fight. Justin James came back really strong in that 3rd round, and our guest said they're certainly going to try. If not, they owe us. So to be determined.
No, you will join or you leave. No, I'm just kidding. Come on if you can.
I said you will join or you will leave. The worries.
This is the gauntlet. All right.
But yeah, exactly. We're in the dog and bunny world here. We're at 22 viewers right now. That is a new high, by the way, for the podcast. So shout out there to everybody who's here. But yeah, James, good fight again against Derek Minner. That was a fight where Rosa was absolutely dominated in the grappling. And not only that, but Derek Minner, who usually has 1 round of gas, 10-8'd Charles Rosa in the 3rd round. Derek Minner, not known for his cardio, not known for the decisions in his career, and to do what he did. Absolutely, Mystics, welcome. And so I think this I hope is going to be a good fight. I fear this might be a stalemate a little bit. These guys kind of cancel each other out in a lot of ways. Not the highest level of what up, Shayo Bid, I believe that is. Is that Mr. Robot in your profile? Because if it is, shout out to you. I love Mr. Robot, one of my favorite shows of all time. But yeah, I love seeing new people. I think this is one where, because I think they're going to cancel each other's skills out quite a bit, I see it going to a decision. I see it kind of being a little bit more of a positioning battle. And I'm gonna go with Rosa.
Yes! Decision? That's what the clipboard says, baby.
I know. I read the whole thing. So if I left you anything, did I leave you anything on your clipboard to recite here? But I got Rosa, and I'll take the bunny split.
Oh, okay. I like
Give me the bunny split.
I didn't say split, but I like you know me.
It's okay. I'm trying to. Yeah. 25 viewers. Let's go.
Ilya's what, 11-0?
Elliott Tapura, yes.
Yeah.
11-0 and
so
getting.
Lost Ilya. No.
Wow, Brandon's telling you what to do.
Boston needs to pick Boston Sean. Brandon, I'm picking Rosa.
She does not like being told what to do.
Now I'm about to change my pick to David.
I believe you. I believe that.
Damn it, Brandon.
No, this is your own pick. We get it.
Peabody is not Boston, Brandon, so I don't have to pick Peabody. We got another Boston fighter on here somewhere. Somewhere on here. But I'm not picking Peabody. I'm picking Rosa. Oh, yeah, I am. Actually, wait. Yeah, no, I am picking Boston. Damn it. Fuck.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. You're still an individual.
It's still not Boston, though. I would like that on the record. But
yep. It's on the record.
I don't know. Lost to Ilya. That's not anything to hang your head on. Damon has good cardio. He has a fucking gnarly left hook. He's a wrestler. I don't know. But this fucking there's so much else on fucking Rosa's track record that I think is a little bit more confident. But I'm not picking split, but I am picking decision. I like when we agree.
Yeah, Manny makes a good point here. I believe Charles Rosa. Let me just go real quick here. How far back? I believe his entire UFC career starts out with a loss, gets a win, then 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 a loss, gets a win. Damon Jackson wins this fight. Damon Jackson. I don't think we. I don't think we have a choice. I think that's the law that Damon Jackson wins this fight.
Oh, Steve, what's up? Welcome.
Yeah. Oh, Steve.
Hey.
Oh, how's it going? The stooge himself. I don't know.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's just a little bit of ribbing.
And Zach's the one that I have a problem with. You tell Zach to stay away, Steve, okay? Okay.
Yeah, we know Steve, we love you here. I'm just shocked here. I'm just shocked. I'm just
Thank you.
Yeah, hey, shout out to you, Steve. It's great to see you too. And Steve has always enjoyed my humor. Steve's always laughed at my jokes more than Zach. So
I have issues, so we can just move on from that. No comment. Better move on before I get violent. So.
Oh my God, we have 26 people in here right now. 26. I can't help it. It's like feels really good. I'm very proud. Charles Rosa. I will go with Charles Rosa by decision in all seriousness, but it's not when I'm being very serious. And Charles Rosa is the underdog at plus 160, minus 200 on Damon Jackson. Crazy. That's nuts to me. Again, we now have a card where we have a Steve Garcia at a minus 325, and we have a Damon Jackson at minus 200. These are crazy prices you're putting on some guys you can't trust.
It's like a sleeper card, but Vegas is doing some shit.
Vegas is very confident. Vegas
talk about
MMA odds. Yes, MMA odds are broken, and it's beautiful for people like us, Zach. We can cash it every week. I almost just cashed him plus 550 on the Contender Series and Patrick White yesterday. Patrick White had the knockout, except that Herb Dean needs a death warrant. God.
Damn!
Herb Dean costing me money every week. But then Chris Tione's there to.
Let's move on.
Okay, producer Bunny's in my ear. She's telling me to move on. So we'll move on here. We got the big
Janet Jackson. That's white Janet Jackson.
Sorry, I get it all confused. You're the Star-kissed cat. You're the Kesh. Like you're just all these different things. You're 6'3". You're a wino now. I don't even know you. I just don't even know you anymore. Alexander Romanov taking on Jared Vanderaa next at heavyweight. This one is absolutely fantastic fight for however long it goes. The first round, I think, at least will be fantastic. After that, we might see at least one very tired person. But we got Alexander King Kong Romanov taking on Jared Vanderaa, the Mountain, 12-5 against 14-0. I'll be breaking down Jared the Mountain Vanderaa first. As I said, 12-5, 6'4", 80-inch reach. He's got that John Jones reach. Weighed in at 264 for his last fight, which was a win, fighting on Dan Henderson Athletic Fitness Center in Hamlet, California. Fought in May of this year. Beat Justin Tafa by a decision. That was just Justin Tafa. Makes me scratch my head. But Jared Vandera's last 2 wins, Justin Tafa and Harry Hunsucker, and frankly Tony Lopez. None of those are too great. The way that Vanderaa looked against the wrestling and ground and pound of Sergey Spivak was horrendous. Yes, Steve, you are correct. It was real bad. Yeah, I think I've talked with Steve about Jared Vanderaa before. I'm pretty sure we both kind of concurred that you look at some people and they're like just not UFC caliber. And I get he got a win over Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa gave that to him with his lack of IQ. I just don't think Jared Vanderaa is all that good, especially if he comes in around 240 range. I'll feel a little better about him because that will, to me, tell me that he's taken his cardio and conditioning a little more seriously. And the way that you beat Romanov is you get him out of the first round. We saw against Juan Espino, he got really tired towards the end of the second, and then the third round, faked a nut shot to get the win. Yeah, Mystic Sosa, you called it right there. Sorry, guys, I'm not reading your comments. I'm on the Tapology page.
Sorry, I'm responding to everybody.
I appreciate it. No, you're free, but yeah, what Sosa basically said is that in the Romanov fight with Juan Espino was really coming on in that third round, and then Romanov went down with a nut shot allegedly, and it went to a technical decision. He won 2-1 because there was 11 seconds of the third round that was judged, and I think Romanov landed 1 strike and Espino landed none, so they gave Romanov the round. So yeah, it's one of these. Yeah, I think that I don't judge guys off. Sorry, go ahead.
I said you guys are ruthless.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying this is what happens with MMA a lot of times is that MMA fans kind of have a short memory. They'll sometimes, I think, define a fighter based on one bad performance. Alexander Romanov's other performances inside the octagon and outside the octagon have been very impressive so far. I think Juan Espino, a Senegalese Spanish wrestler with a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I get he's 40, but he's a very good fighter still. I saw Brandon say that he thinks this is Alexander's toughest date. I think it could be tough if Vanderaa shows the cardio. If Vanderaa comes in at the 250 range, 245 range, I'm a little more nervous. Right now, I'm going with Alexander Romanov. I think that the wrestling and the ground and pound gets it done inside of 2 rounds.
I couldn't have said it. He's a round 1 finisher, dude. He's scary. Yeah. I was watching some of his old fights, and I was wincing at the computer.
So
ruthless individual.
One thing that's pretty cool about it too is that Romanov is a former sumo wrestler, and you can really see that. You can see, yeah. So go ahead I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, he's an absolute juggernaut. There's not much else I can say. He's like a terrifying individual. And I kept trying to find ways that Jared would maybe win. I'm like, he's got a lot of round 2 finishes.
Yeah, it's got to get past that 7-minute mark. He's got to push the cardio.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because Alexander's got so many round 1 finishes that it's like, well, can he last past that? I don't think he's going to need to. I have Alexander by potential fucking murder. But Jared's kicks can be felt countries away. Those things are no fucking joke. I just don't think it's going to be anything enough to be like what
Jared's kicks can be felt countries away. That's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. So it seems like most are going with Romanov. Either it's really a question of if you think it's the sub or the ground and pound. You're not going to like this bunny. He's a minus 650 favorite.
That makes sense. Minus 650.
To plus 450 for Jared Vanderaa. 4.5 to 1 underdog for Vanderaa. Zach says it here. The 7-minute mark is massively, especially for heavyweights, especially these heavyweights. Yeah, I think that even, and frankly, I'm just very confident on Romanov in this position. I think even if it goes over, I think a part of Romanov kind of does want this going a little deeper, possibly, to maybe show he's solved some of those cardio issues. We'll see, though. Zach is on Vanderaa at plus 400. Good luck, buddy. Yeah, good luck, man.
Godspeed, brother.
I would pray for you, but I have Romanov in some parlays, so I'm just going to be agnostic here.
There's certain favorites that make sense, and this is one of those times where I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but either way, gamble with the heavyweights because Vanderaa might just need to have cardio to win this fight if Romanov shows up with that same gas tank as last fight. But I think that one of these guys gets a finish early on, so we shall see. Moving on to the featured prelim, which I really find it hard to believe this is the featured prelim. But Chris Gutierrez versus Felipe Callares. You always fade big prospects, Zach. That probably doesn't work out for you too often. Like Elliott Tapura, guys like Islam Makhachev, these prospects, you should probably be going with them, or maybe not make it such a black and white thing. But we all got our experiences. Jared's only 29. Which I find hard to believe. He looks like he's about 38.
This is MMA too. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, even against all odds. So.
Yep. So we'll move on to the next one here. This is at bantamweight between Chris Gutierrez and Felipe Callares. Combachao versus El Guapo. 5'9", 67-inch reach for El Guapo Gutierrez versus the 5'8", 69.5-inch reach for the Team Nogueira representative Felipe Callares out of Brazil. I'll be breaking down Felipe first. Brazilian fighter is 10-2. As I said, Team Nogueira, very good gym down in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Won his last fight out in a very, very, very tough decision over Luke Sanders back in May. That was a very good fight. I believe Callares was he was only a plus 110. I thought he was a little more of an underdog in that one, but either way, looked much better than his fight in 2020 against Montel Jackson, which he did make it to a decision against. Had a split over Domingo Pilarte before a decision against Geraldo de Freitas. So it does seem the grapplers kind of give Felipe a little more trouble so far of his two losses. They are to primary grapplers, a little bit of better luck against a wrestler, striker in Luke Sanders and a pretty much striker in Domingo Pilarte. Chris Gutierrez not going to be taking him down too much in this fight. Chris Gutierrez mostly looks to push the pace. 16-3-1 for the 30-year-old, as absolutely vicious leg kicks. He's on a 4-fight win streak right now over pretty good opponents, including a common opponent. And Geraldo de Freitas did have a draw in between there against Cody Durden. Cody Durden I think that Gutierrez just kind of got off to just a bad start. Durden really just dominated, got the back, got a 10-8 first round. Gutierrez went on to win the second and third round very clearly. So I do kind of look at that more as a win for Gutierrez than a draw, honestly. Andre Ewell's last time out, it was the leg kicks were just there all day, the distance control. I think if he can get a similar type of distance against Callares, I think he kind of cruises to another decision. I'm pretty confident here. I like Gutierrez. I think Gutierrez just has a really good cardio game, good kick game. His ground game is not amazing, but against a guy like Callares, it's going to be a kickboxing bout, and it's going to be fought at Chris's range, in my opinion. He's used to the apex. Seems like a decision for Chris.
No.
Oh, she just says no. Obviously.
Everyone's mentioning the leg kicks. Fantastic. I get it. He's got great leg kicks. I'm going with judo and taekwondo and the black belt and BJJ. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Brazil. Rio de Janeiro. That's where we're going. And also, I think Chris was born in Boston. This was the other fight I was talking about. I did some research on him. I think he was born in Boston. So I just want you fuckers to know I'm going against Boston, against Aaron. I'm picking Felipe. I'm picking by decision, and we're going to move on to the middleweight.
Against Boston, against Aaron. picking Felipe. I get it. You got
Aaron ever though, because he makes a lot of money for people.
No, but I'm pretty sure since we've been doing breakdowns, you have a better pick record than me. But that's okay. Felipe Callares, you got the big time underdog here at plus 210 in Callares. I think that is a very worthy dog, and I'm not just saying that because you picked him. I think that's a great price to make. Chris Gutierrez minus 265. That is, I just do Chris Gutierrez by decision to get it closer to even money, probably. But either way,
go on Google, and do some research.
And again,
Boston born.
Yeah, and so either. And then, weekend bets, but never knew. Houston Texans winning plus 450. Jared Vanderaa plus 400. Bunny going on a date with me minus 125. Good luck. Justin is the favorite for going on a date with Bunny this weekend.
What? I don't date. What did you just say? This weekend bets out on the Houston team winning. No, I don't do dates. I don't date. I'm violently single.
And she also really does. She also really doesn't do favorites, especially. Like, you definitely should have made yourself underdog if you wanted to somehow work that around into your favor. By making you a favorite, you really show how you don't know Bunny. Yeah, Justin. Looks like a lot of fading on Justin on that one. Fair enough. Only the strong survive here. But I'm gonna move on to the main card here. Sorry, Justin. Oh, Justin. Oh, sweet Justin. Dream big though, kid. Dream big. So we're to the main card. We're gonna move on from that. Pick up the crying emoji. That's, you hate to see it. That's not helping you, buddy. That's not helping. Moti.
I face up with tears, Justin. So
Moti. Justin smoothly handled this date proposal. Yeah, that man. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not so awkward. But next one here, Darren Winn taking on Megatron. Phil Hawes. Darren Winn, the 7-2 wrestler here out of Missouri, 5'6", 70-inch reach for the guy who struggles to make 186. In fact, his last fight was a catchweight at 195 because he did not want to make it to middleweight. He's 5'6". He's 5'6". He is a little guy. Give him a little noogie. Let Justin dream, everybody. I'm sorry, Justin. Justin, you are the favorite. Keep telling yourself that. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? So far, Darren Winn has been a pretty big bust since making it into the UFC. He started with a decision win over Eric Spicely. Not really that impressive. He's known as a very good wrestler, but the wrestling has not seemed to transition into MMA all that well. I just think that he's got a lot. Yeah, he's called Mini DC. He's got a lot of the credentials, but those credentials just don't seem to be transitioning into the MMA game. He lost a split decision to Darren Stewart, got choked out by Gerald Mearshart after pretty much getting outlasted, and then got a win over Antonio Arroyo in a fight that I wasn't able to see too much of because the steak was sizzling so much during that fight with Antonio Arroyo and Darren Winn. Went to a decision. Apparently, Darren Winn won it. I just think Phil Hawes is an athletic specimen. He knocks him out. That's just a wrap on this one for me. Phil Hawes has looked decent so far in his UFC career. I thought Imamov did beat him personally, but he was able to get a decision in a close fight there. I just think Phil Hawes is just so much athletically superior. He's going to be able to. He has a massive reach advantage, as most do. And Darren Winn doesn't seem to want to use his wrestling for 5 rounds or 3 rounds because I don't think he has the gas to do so. He struggles to make 185 somehow when he should be a 170 or a 155er. And it's just I like Phil Hawes here. He wins most of his fights by KO. I think he adds another one here. I'm not going to be too creative. I got Phil. Megatron.
Sweet. By what? By finish?
KO.
Sweet. Aaron, we are on the same. Oh, it's backwards, isn't it? Hawes by KO.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything you just said. I think he's on a 7-win streak. I'm not a big fan of streaks, but that streak started in 2019. That's a lot of wins in just a couple years.
I mean, since having the bad performance on the Contenders series, he's come back and been very focused.
Very focused and powerful. He's like extremely. He's a fast striker, and I think against the 5'6", no offense to the height, he's just like he's.
He's small and wide.
Yeah. I mean, moves. He's great. He's a good wrestler. He's strong and sturdy middleweight. But I think Phil Hawes is a way smarter fighter, and I think he's about to make his 8th win here in a row. So
yeah, Hawes is hitting that. I think Hawes is hitting a kind of a good momentous part of his career, hitting that prime. That's the words I was trying to think of. Yeah, sometimes I just can't think of the words. I just don't have the words, but
speechless.
Yeah, but Phil Hawes, Winn can't make welterweight. Simply can't, Miz. So you might need to. Frankly, Winn needs to be a lightweight or a featherweight, but he doesn't want to make the cuts. And as a result, I think it greatly affects him in these fights. I think this is another example. Phil Hawes is a -300 favorite. I'd parlay that. I'd also go inside the distance because that typically is how Phil Hawes wins it. But yeah, Phil Hawes I like +240 on Darren Winn.
Steve said Winn is thick. He is. He's like small and thick.
Now Winn is thick. That is true. Now that's someone who deserves to get thick DMs. Like but that's for another podcast. Yeah, fucking thick ass 105er. That makes no sense. She's a fucking atom weight. But you're literally an atom weight. Sabina Mazo taking on Marina Agapova. This fight is at the 125-pound division. This is a very good fight at the flyweights. I think that I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm a big fan of both these ladies. Maria Agapova, obviously coming off of one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Agapova was a -1,500 favorite against in her last fight with Shayna Dobson. And Dobson ended up getting the KO in round 2. And Agapova all of a sudden is way down as an underdog in her very next fight. She's going from a -1,500 favorite to an underdog against Sabina Mazo. So the world of MMA odds are fickle. It's just fascinating to me. But yeah, Sabina Mazo, I'll be breaking down first. The Colombian queen, as she's known, fighting out of Huntington Beach, California, 24 and a half years old, fighting out of King's MMA. Very good camp, 9-2 for the former bantamweight. So this is her first fight at 125, fighting out of also Muay Thai Medallion, known as a Muay Thai striker. Lost her last fight out to Alexis Davis at bantamweight, mind you. No shame at all in that. Alexis Davis is a tremendous veteran. Has a great gas tank. Literally, you can go back to Alexis Davis's last 5 or 6 fights now, and she has not lost in the second round. She just doesn't lose in the second round of any of those fights. So, I mean, she just kind of out-veteraned her, but Alexis Davis is huge, strong. Let Sabina Mazo know she needed to move kind of down to 125. She'd, I believe, started her career at flyweight. Lost to Marina Miraz. Not a great loss there to the Iron Lady. Did beat Shayna Dobson. Moved up after beating JJ Aldrich to face, and she faced Alexis Davis and just didn't seem to like the size difference. The 135 didn't seem to work for her. She just needs to have that reach and size advantage that comes at 125. But very good striker, good movement, good cardio at both weight divisions. had a few decision wins. One of her problems against J.J. Aldrich, the higher striker, higher volume fighter, is that she's a little bit too picky with her strikes and her movement, and it allowed for a split decision in that fight where she had a pretty dominant reach advantage. And I think that in this fight, her reach and her cardio are just going to be a little bit too much for Maria Agapova. Agapova has really shown some serious gas issues in her fights. And in this fight, I don't believe she can just keep it on the feet and have a kickboxing bout. I think if she has that, she's going to struggle a lot. So Maria is going to have to get this fight to the ground. And look at Instagram right now. Maria Agapova already looks extremely sucked out. I think she cuts a tremendous amount of weight to get to 125. And I think it's why she has about 3 to 4 minutes of cardio. She has, I'm just reading this real quick from Mystic. She has spoken quite a bit about her money issues and not having the money to train correctly. And she bought a car, doesn't have to bike for hours a day, had a better camp. That is true. She used to be fighting over at American Top Team. She now is over at MMA Masters. I know that Jillian Robertson has been sparring with her to prepare for this one. It's good training partner, but Jillian Robertson fights pretty much as opposite of Sabina Mazo as you can get. So while it's helpful for, I think, what Maria is trying to work on, which is her grappling, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to have the cardio to grapple for 2-3 rounds and get that decision win. And I think on the feet, she's going to have trouble reaching Sabina. So I'm going to go with Sabina by decision here. I just think the size, the reach, and everything. And I think that I think that Vegas knows what they're doing here. They made Agapova the slight dog. I think a ton of people are going to have the reaction of, Maria was a minus 1,500. Now she's an underdog. She's my dog of the night. I think Mazo takes this one by decision.
I was reading the chat and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sound like such an idiot because I'm picking Sabina and everyone's picking else is picking Mariah. Yeah. I think Mariah floats like a butterfly and stings like a butterfly. So.
Wow. Ouch.
No disrespect.
Of course.
She's a gamer, which is cool. She, she's a gamer like the bunny. She's a striker, kicker. She's got a little bit of an awkward style. She's kind of awkward in the way she sort of hunches. Not a big fan. I think Sabina's a little bit stockier. She's got more of a heavy strike load, so I think I'm going Sabina. Who's too biased?
Yeah, is this Alex? Is this
against my equal? I'm going against the gamer.
Yeah, exactly. She's going against her own people.
And I went against Boston too. Alex, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?
Alex Hernandez. Is that Alexander the Great Hernandez? Did you just have a knockout last week? If so. So you mentioned stockier. I believe that Agapova is actually the shorter 5'6", 68-inch reach.
Bigger.
I thought you were calling Mazo stockier.
Yeah, I think Mariah is more slender, isn't she? Taller, but
so
slender.
Yeah, Mazo is the taller of the opponents and has the better reach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do think Maria is a little more of the muscular fighter, cuts a little more of the weight, which is why she has the cardio issues. Minus 165 on Sabina Mazo, plus 135 on Agapova. Again, this is not Alex Hernandez. I don't believe you. There's no way it's Alex Hernandez. If it is Alex, I'll send you the StreamYard link right now if you want to come on and talk about your knockout. I don't believe you. But Tim Elliott.
Aaron, and let him say who he was. Now he's going to play this up. There's no way this is Alex Hernandez. But
no, I just can't. I watch all the time. Does Alex Hernandez follow you, Bunny?
I got a lot of fighter friends, and Alex Hernandez is not one of them.
That she does. She has a lot of fighter friends. But I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's good. No, it's all good. We accept all Alex Hernandez is here. So can you imagine if it really was him? Like I was just like being like, oh my God. I'm starting to sweat thinking about it. But yeah, we got the favorite -165 in Mazo, plus 135. We'll move on to the next fight here. This is at 125 pounds between Tim Elliott and Matthias Nicolau. I think this could be fight of the night, to be honest. I think this is going to be a super exciting flyweight fight here. 17-11-1. Tim Elliott taking on the 16-2-1 Matthias Nicolau. He is currently on a 3-fight win streak on Nova Union, 5'6", 66-inch reach, so a little guy. For sure. He's just a little Brazilian Frenchman. Just look at that. But 3-fight win streak, good wins there. Manel Cape in his last fight, a split decision where Manel just looked like he didn't want to throw strikes. It was really bizarre. 13-4-11 and a 10-3 win prior to that. Was head kick knocked out by Dustin Ortiz in 2018. It's kind of crazy. Dustin Ortiz not exactly known for his finishing or striking, but had a win over Bruno Correa, a good win there. John Moraga, Luis Smolka, all very good wins. Nicolau, he's good. Sometimes he's a little bit too methodical for my liking. Takes a little bit of time to get going. When Manel Cape did use the grappling, he did look to have some success also, and you know what Tim Elliott's about to do. Tim Elliott's gonna get in there, throw crazy ass strikes, get in his face, try to get him down. If he gets him down in the first round, Nicolau is in trouble because I think Tim Elliott's gonna push the pace on him, get him down round after round. By the third round, I think that Nicolau really struggles. But it's just hard. We don't know with Tim Elliott which Tim Elliott we're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You reach in, you think it's going to be one of those peanut butter ones, and it's got like one of those weird fruits in the middle of it. You're like, oh, like that's Tim Elliott sometimes. Like, what is this? Is it like a grape? Is it a cherry? Is it a date? What am I eating?
Sneakers before, by the way. Welcome, Sneakers Das 219.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for taking care of that chat. I appreciate it very much.
I'm not talking to you guys.
But he's Glory MMA. We know that Steve, Josh, some of these guys, Glory MMA fans. Glory MMA product here in Tim Elliott. He's looked much better since coming back to Glory MMA. He's won 2 straight, Ryan Benoit and Jordan Espinosa. So, not the craziest level of competition, but he's just been absolutely relentless. I think that we got another disagreement here, Bunny, because I am not going with Brazil. I'm going with Tim Elliott. I think Tim Elliott has a lot left in the tank still. He's faced a incredible who's who in the flyweight division. Gave Demetrius Mighty Mouse one of his best fights ever at 125 before losing over with one. Losses to Davidson Figueiredo, Askar Askarov, and Brandon Royval being your last 3 losses. Are you kidding me? You've lost to the top 3 in the division. That is savage. Like, this guy is crazy, pushes the pace. Nicolau often kind of laxes on his strikes and his volume a little bit too much. The Brazilian gets taken down. Decision win. Tim Elliott, your thoughts, Bunny?
You're going with the 17-11-1. I want that on. You're going with the 17.
Yes. I'm going with the beautiful MMA record of 17-11-1.
Thamiris, what's up, girl?
Faced adversity. There she is. Hi, Thamiris. 17-11-1. Yes, he's about to be 18-11-1.
I will be going with the Brazilian one.
Obviously biased.
I feel more comfortable with what I've seen from him, but every time you start speaking, I always question what I have here on the card.
Don't do that. Believe in yourself.
I don't bet again. I'll always repeat that just because people send,
and always respect the other thing.
Yeah, this is pure passion. But I'm gonna go with Brazil on this one, and I'm gonna go with a finish. Let's go with the finish. Let's go with the KO.
Oh my God!
Just
She
shut up,
goes with the
Aaron. You
KO.
told me 17, 11, and 1. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Okay, well,
It's better than
I'm just
Aldo's
gonna.
decision pick. Can we just move
I
on?
just want to check. And do you know the last time Tim Elliott got knocked out?
That's perfect. That means he's due for one.
I'll tell you, it was never.
What? How
Tim,
many fights has he lost to how many fights he's won?
he's lost 11 fights.
And how many has he won?
17. more than he's lost.
5, 6. All right. Good. I'm just
Yeah, he's
This is by far the most outlandish.
Thank you, Tony.
Ever. Wait, what did he say? What did Tony say? God.
I question whenever you speak. We all have questions when he speaks. Thank you.
I don't know why. He's usually.
Just call me the fucking Riddler here.
You're all making me crazy right now.
No, Tony understand. Yeah, shout out to Tony.
Yes,
yeah, and
exactly.
He fights killers.
He's about to fight another killer and get knocked out. Fuck out!
Okay, so Bunny, you got the favorite, of course. The minus. Well, you have the favorite, the minus 190 favorite in Matthias Nicolau. He's almost a 2-1 favorite, which I'm surprised about personally. And Tim Elliott coming back at a plus 165 underdog. Tim Elliott has won as a dog before. I think he wins as a dog here, but we'll see. This is definitely one that we'll be interested to discuss as it's going. I like agreeing with you a lot, but I also enjoy our disagreements. They're like our miscommunications. They often result in the most revelations to come. So we're up to the co-main event now. We're flying by here again. It's been a great show. Thank you, everybody, again in the chat. And thank you to Bunny for once again joining me here on Wednesday. It's the Dog and Bunny show this week. The bear will be back eventually. But either way, it's good to be here. And I appreciate you guys all. So thank you for making another great card. Kill Switch owns all. I know I saw you earlier, but good to see you back here as always. But we are on to the co-main event, welterweight division. Randy Brown versus Jared Gooden. This is a good fight. This is a really, really good fight. Rude Boy versus, come on, Rude Boy. Come on, give it up. Versus Night Train. We are going to break down Jared Gooden, Night Train first, 18-6, 27 years old. I've been following this guy for quite a while now on the regional scene. So it's just really cool to see him making it to UFC at his prime, 6 foot, 77-inch reach. Really good numbers there for a welterweight, 18-6. Won his last fight out back in July. Looked outstanding in that fight, getting the knockout of Nicholas Stolz. Very good knockout just over a minute into the fight. Before that, lost to Joban on short notice, as well as Abubakar Nurmagomedov, both by decision. I just think in those fights, the Alan Joban fight was just a great fight. It was also Alan Joban's retirement fight. Alan Joban really came in very motivated, but it was a good back and forth fight. He landed some very good shots. When Jared Gooden connects, it seems to really kind of change his opponent's game plans. Landed some good shots against Abubakar. Was just thinking about the takedowns a little too much, and then Nicholas could not survive the onslaught. Jared Gooden, he can look very bad in some of his losses, particularly the Bruno Oliveira loss. Took about 60 shots against the cage in 53 seconds before getting knocked out. It was real bad. But he's looked much better in his last, winning 4 of his last 6. And again, the 2 losses, high level of competition. It seems that the grappling does give him problems when it's mixed up with the striking. Michael Graves, another example of that. And Randy Brown, another guy. Both these guys, I think, are starting to hit their prime right around the same time here. But Rude Boy out of Jamaica, 31 years old, 6'3", 78-inch reach. So very good reaches here for these 170 years. Massive fighters, both coming off of a win. His in April, and his coming against Alex Oliveira was a one-armed guillotine. Really nice, or one-armed rear naked choke. I apologize. A really nice finish there. Has won 3 of his last 4. His only loss coming to Vicente Luque, who Vicente Luque might be the best 170er in the world. Frankly, I think he's right up there. So yeah, and he finishes all these fights too. Like that is you talk about Brazilian savages. Vicente Luque is the Brazilian savage. Yeah, and like so, definitely, I think that is a good fight for Randy Brown to have come off of now. Yeah, I think this is a very close fight though. I do like Randy Brown a little bit for his ability to be able to mix in the takedowns, the wrestling. But I honestly think that this one ends up in a decision. I think both these guys have very good finishing abilities, but yeah, I think this one goes to a decision here. I think these guys just match up very well physically, and I just think Randy Brown uses a little more of the grappling, cage control, takedowns to get this one. But I also could see a world where, honestly, Jared Gooden gets a knockout. He's got the hands for it. We've seen Randy Brown knocked out before, and obviously it was a very weird knockout against Nico Price. But yeah, I'm going to lean towards Randy Brown, but I'm not super confident in this one. I'll take Randy by decision.
I feel like I've been watching as long as you have. I watch almost every fight. I study the same tapes. I do the same research.
Mm-hmm.
How can we come to such different conclusions sometimes? It just bothers me.
Okay.
I have Randy by submission. I'm going hopeful with that one. I haven't picked a submission yet on the card. I feel like this would be the one to get it done. He's had a couple round 1, round 2 finishes, round 2 subs before. He's had experience with Luque, who, as we know, is just he's just so skilled. He's a ninja, and I love watching him fight.
This is the other thing about Luque is we saw with Jalen Turner a couple weeks ago how much better he got after that Luque finish. When people fight Luque, if they can survive it mentally, they get better from it. And I think we're going to. Sorry, go ahead.
I said you learn so much. He's just a teacher in the cage. You fight him. It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
And he's just a beautiful fighter. Everything he does, he moves like water. I just fucking love watching him. That's why
we're not that different on this pick then. We both.
No, I was going over other fights in my head, and I was like, how? Like I watch the same shit.
The beauty of MMA. That's the beauty of MMA. That's why it's the best sport.
Yeah, I know. It's just
it's the beauty of it. You can but we're on the same page here. I don't hate Randy by sub either at all. I would love to see it, and I mean his jiu-jitsu. I believe he's only a purple belt, but he's really showing some advancements there. We also know damn well that belt rankings don't matter with MMA. We've seen brown belts submit black belts, and just everything like that. Okay, Justin.
Timing, it could all come down to luck. You have no idea. Like it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes for the takedown, you could just.
I say this all the time. The better fighter wins in MMA like 70% of the time.
I know. Doesn't that suck?
It's like the beautiful yet crazy.
I would just like to throw that out there.
I mean, that sometimes it's that was a robbery though. That wasn't the better. That was just a robbery. Douglas Lima won that fight. Period. Yeah, I just you did see with Bellator now the change they're making though to main events, right?
No, because I refuse to watch Bellator now.
They're moving to 5. Okay. They're moving to 5-round main events in January.
Cool, Bellator.
So hopefully.
And everyone else talks shit for years, and you fucking piss all over me just like that. I'm taking a strike from you for a little while, Bellator. Go ahead.
It's okay. That's fair. That's fair enough. I respect that. Okay. All right. I'm getting in my ear. I should move forward. I'm going to move on to the main event here. It's getting really hot in here again. 115 division. Strawweight. Oh my God. Knees weak. Mom spaghetti. 115 division here. I absolutely love this matchup here. It's all good between Marina Rodriguez. I am not the best. That would be Bunny. But 115 main event here between Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern. This will get us on maybe our next title contestant what is it, contender, title contender? I'm not sure the word. I'm losing the words. Let me take another. Thank you, title contender. But we've got the striker versus the grappler here. 5 rounds, main event. Mackenzie Dern is 11-1, 28 and a half years old, 5'4", 63-inch reach, taking on the 34-and-a-half-year-old Brazilian Marina Rodriguez, Muay Thai specialist, 5'6", 65-inch reach. I will be breaking down Mackenzie Dern first. The woman of 1,000 accents is 11-1 in her career, 28 years old, fighting out of Los Angeles. Black House MMA down in Brazil is her main camp. 4-fight win streak for Mackenzie Dern here. 3 of those coming by submission. Hannah Cyphers, Branda Marcos being subbed. Verna Jandaroba had a really good fight with her where she had shown a much improved stand-up game. Got to show that against Nina Nunes before getting the submission in that fight as well. I just think that Dern's definitely looked better, but there's still some questions. We saw against Amanda Ribas when the takedowns were not there, that she really did kind of look lost out there. In the UFC, has a split win over Ashley Yoder, which isn't great. Amanda Cooper, Hannah Cyphers, not great. Randa Marcos, I believe, is 10-11 at this point. Nina Nunes was coming off of pregnancy. Verna Jandaroba is a very legit win. I just think that it's hard to say with Mackenzie Dern. This seems like it's way too soon for Mackenzie Dern, in my opinion. 5 rounds, I think, is going to be pretty tough on her here. Marina Rodriguez has multiple fights that she's fought 5 rounds in at this point. Marina Rodriguez, with the common opponent of Amanda Ribas, knocked Amanda Ribas out twice in the second round. It was an absolutely savage performance there. Marina did show good takedown defense. She's gone 5 rounds with former Invicta champion Michelle Waterson. I think that fight was a very tricky fight for Marina. And yes, it went to a split, but I did think Marina won. I just think that Marina is simply counted out in a lot of her fights for whatever reason. She's a dog over and over and over again. And she's kind of just defined as a Muay Thai specialist, but I think she's much more than that. I'm a huge Marina Rodriguez fan. I just am. I have been for a long time. So we'll break down the 14-1-2 Marina Rodriguez. I just think she's very, very underappreciated. Her split loss to Carla Esparza, I don't know if you remember that fight, but Carla Esparza was absolutely opened up with elbows from the bottom against Marina. Marina landed the better strikes. I think Marina won that fight. I really think Marina should be undefeated still going into this fight. Also being 34 years old, there's a certain level of focus to Marina. She knows that now is the time for her to kind of begin her run. The last 2 wins over Amanda Ribas and Michelle Waterson are exceptional. The draw against Cynthia Calvillo and the loss to Carla really did let her know that the thing she has to work on is her wrestling. She did work on that and showed the improvements against Ribas, showed them for the first 3 to 4 rounds against Michelle Waterson. Waterson did work her towards the end. I don't think Mackenzie Dern can do that, though. So I like Marina Rodriguez in this fight. I think she's one of the best strikers in the division. And honestly, I'm not sure if she can get the finish or not. I think this goes all 5 rounds. So I'm going to take Marina by decision. But I think once she shows the takedown defenses there on the feet, they're so miles apart. I just think that for me, Mackenzie Dern is a sub or bust. So I'm going to take the Brazilian Marina Rodriguez by decision.
I like it. And the only part I struggled with on this fight was deciding between a decision or a finish. But it was Marina from the get-go. And I know sorry, what the hell is her name?
Mackenzie Dern.
Mackenzie Dern. She's got a lot of fans. She's a big she's got a lot of simps herself. She's a big and she's talented. I'm not saying she's not talented. I've never really been a huge fan of her. So when I saw she was going against Marina, there was no question there. Marina is a much more well-rounded and experienced fighter. I think if it goes past round 3, Mackenzie Dern will be like, what the fuck do I do now? I've tried everything in my book and nothing's really taken this girl out. And then that's where I struggled with it, whether it's going to be decision or if it's going to be a finish. Mackenzie, she's pretty good at finishing people on the ground. She's got good grappling, I think, but I don't think she's strong enough to take out Marina. So I'm going with Marina, and I'm going to say finish. I'll say round 4 finish.
Okay.
Weird, and I'm going for it.
Yeah, and we got the underdog here in Marina at plus 145. I'm very surprised by that number, minus 165 on Mackenzie Dern. Marina has cashed as a dog against Tecia Torres.
Tiny tornado.
Which we know how good Tecia Torres is. She cashed as a plus 270 dog against Amanda Ribas. And yeah, she was a minus 225 favorite in a main event against Michelle Watterson. I think that was a close fight. But again, I just think Marina is very, very underrated by a lot of people. I think her striking is going to be significant in this one. I'd love to see the finish. I think it'd be a huge finish for Marina. She just can't be okay with grappling with Mackenzie. She's got to win. Mackenzie gets it into the clinch when she goes for her takedowns. Marina needs to move, circle out of those positions, not mess with those positions at all. Because what we've seen in most of Mackenzie's wins, Amanda Cooper and such, Hannah Cyphers, they will grapple with her, and it's just that's Mackenzie's world. You gotta make Mackenzie work. Mackenzie's never gone 5 rounds. Marina has multiple times. And yeah, I just think that Marina has the ability to definitely finish, and I also think Marina can win a decision. And for me, I view Dern much more as needing to get a submission to win this one, and I don't think she has the wrestling to do so. So I love the dog. I've liked Marina since this opened. I haven't switched on that one. She's my favorite dog on the card at plus 145. So yeah, we're in agreement here for the last fight of the night here. It's it's been a very interesting card, but yeah, that does do it for this breakdown. First of all, thank you to everybody in the chat. I lost track of how high we got, but definitely our most viewed episode means a lot to us. We're going to be here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Brian will be joining us eventually once he gets settled with dad duty, whenever he's ready, honestly. And in the meantime, the Dog and the Bunny show continues here. The last 2 weeks have been seriously some of my favorite shows. So honestly, thank you, Bunny, for managing the chat, bringing along so many incredibly awesome people. The people who found this through whatever means you found it through. Excellent. Texan is absolutely right. Lima did win. That's a daily reminder. Yep. Peace.
Yes,
peace and love. And peace and love, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Much appreciated. Obviously, you all know where to find Bunny at Boston Comments. Find her on Twitch. Obviously, find her on the best breakdown show ever here every Wednesday. I am so lucky to have had her encourage me to start this channel, because this channel gets better and better. Thank you, Mo T. I appreciate that. Justin, I appreciate your weird ass. Good luck with those odds, by the way, buddy. But Bunny doesn't like favorites, and I think another favorite's about to get smashed in that one. But honestly, Bunny, it's a pleasure, as always, to do these breakdowns with you. And then we get to chirp about these all Saturday because we got plenty of disagreements. So until next Wednesday, for Aaron the Dog, for Boston Comments, Bunny, for everybody in the chat, have a great night, everybody. Thank you. Keep taking care of each other out there. Peace out.
Thanks.